right, welcome back. We're here, episode 8.
Hello.
We uploaded 3 parts before this. Um, so we're gonna kind of continue going off of our other one, and we're gonna quiz Hannah this episode, but we'll do that a little bit later on. Because I had some other questions prepared. I really didn't have a lot of time to think about what I wanted to tell you last time when we were talking about adult Disney or Disney adults.
Oh,
And I said
yes.
I had some good comparisons, and I thought about it all week, and I couldn't think of a bunch, so I really only came up with, like, 1, but and I kinda wanted to just talk about this one, especially because it's the
Okay.
holidays. But my comparison to, like, Disney adults, like, it's so sweet, so innocent, like, I get it, it's fine, but it's, like, one of those things where you're like, "Come on, grow up
Yeah.
a little bit."
It's kind of, yeah, grow up. It's
Mine is, like, adults obsessed with pretty much any holiday, but specifically Halloween and Christmas, and then, like, even more specifically, like, the whole dressing up. Like, if you're, like,
yeah.
dressing up like, it's one thing because it's fun, like, I get it, but, like, I don't know. Usually that makes me rant. Right now I'm in a fine mood, but, like, usually people are posting about, like, their costumes at parties, whether it's Halloween or Christmas.
Like,
I'm like, "Come on,
like,
we're
I
adults."
have thoughts on this, definitely.
Okay.
It's like if you're invited to a Halloween party and you put together a costume for it and you take pictures, that's fine. I have nothing against that. It's the like you're planning your costume like months in advance, or
Yeah.
like there are some people, I'm not going to call them out by name, because I do love them very much and I'm pretty sure they watch this podcast. Hi, if this is you. But their absolute favorite holiday is Halloween. Like, all, like, how, like, if you were to like look in your like grandma's attic or something, you would just find a ton of like Christmas decorations.
Oh my
This
god.
is them, but with Halloween decorations. There's like fake
Ugh.
skeletons everywhere and like bats and fake
So,
jack-o'-lanterns and
I
everywhere.
I think that's what needs to relax, is not maybe this dressing up, because like, I get dressing up can be fun, but it's the decorations, and, like, I'll put Christmas lights up, maybe a cute little tree, like, of course, but it's yeah, that idea of, like, everything, and me and Sam were actually talking about this because everybody has it. So, like, my mom's thing is nutcrackers. She has, like, a gazillion nutcrackers, and it's, like, 1 or 2 is
Every
cute,
middle-aged white woman in
but
America.
a gazillion's a lot, and then her sister, my
Yeah.
aunt, has the same thing, but with Santa Clauses, so it's like, I get it, 1 or 2, cute, but the whole house, just Santa Clauses everywhere, and
It's supposed to be like a little accent. That's what decorations
yes,
are. But
yes,
when it takes over your entire house, it gets a little
it's too much.
concerning. Like,
It's
I get creeped out by the amount. Like, my mom, she loves nutcrackers. And she used to like decorate like deck out the whole house in nutcrackers.
too
She
much.
doesn't do it anymore
It's
because I think she recognized that it got a little bit ridiculous.
it's just
But like decorations in particular,
yeah,
holiday decorations have gone too far.
it's gone way too far. It feels overwhelming, it's too much. It gets to a point where it's not cute anymore, it's just weird,
It's
like,
not.
you can have a few little pieces and it's really cute, but your whole house, like, I just hate decorations. I think that's what really needs to, and Sam was like,
Yeah.
"One day you're gonna grow up and be an older, like, woman, crazy woman. What's your thing gonna be?" And at first I was like, "I'm not gonna have one." But I was like, "If I
I
did
think you're
have
already
one."
wearing it.
Well, purple's different, but I mean, like, decorations. Well, true. But
Well, this
I
is
said mine would be deer because I love deer, so, like, anytime I
we
see
do have some
reindeer
of those at
somewhere,
the house.
I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, when I turn 40, I'm gonna be buying all these deer."
Yeah. Which is, I get that. But it's like, I remember like a couple years ago, there's this house on Route K that really stepped it up with their Halloween decorations, and they hung up like a corpse from their tree in their front yard.
Oh, yeah.
And there was like a puddle of like fake blood underneath it. And I'm like, it's gone too far now. It has gone, it kind of crosses that line where it's kind of like, Are they a serial killer or are they just Halloween decorations?
Yeah, especially when you're obsessed with Halloween, then it's like, okay, why are you this obsessed with it? Like, it's cute
It
to
kind of scares me a little
dress
bit.
up and get candy, but like, let's not put spiders and blood everywhere.
Oh, the cobwebs. Ugh, like,
But
I can't.
but then even just like any holiday, like especially I think Americans, we just like we're too crazy about them. Like St.
Yes.
Patrick's Day. What are we doing? Is anybody still celebrating it because, oh, they're Irish? Like, no, you're not. You got 0.2% Irish in you. Like, grow up.
They mostly just use it as an excuse to leave work early and go drink and get drunk,
Oh,
which is
that's
fine if that's your
literally
shit,
any
but be
holiday.
honest about it. You don't have to wear the "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" little pin on your shirt and like, oh, you're gonna get pinched if you're not like,
I
come
hate
on.
that. Did you do
I know.
did you do St. Patrick's as a kid? Or like it? Because
No,
I've always
no.
thought that was the dumbest holiday. I mean, the first time I even realized people did St. Patrick's Day was I think it was first or second grade, and like we had to put all of our shoes outside the classroom. I'm like, I want to keep my shoes on. I'm not taking my shoes off.
I'd
And
like
then
to
we
keep
come
my
in
shoes
from
on.
recess, and there's like the little leprechaun came, and I'm like, no, he didn't. This is
There was
dumb.
something really like, yeah, there was something that felt really gross about that whole thing. And I'm like, no, I'd rather keep my shoes on, please.
I
Like,
I hate holidays. Like I'm a
just
Grinch about it.
I I
Because it's
love
like what we were talking
holidays.
about earlier, like with Disney, or I don't know if we talked about it, but like Taylor Swift. It's like, yeah, it's fine at first, but when people get so obsessed, it's like, well, I'm no longer interested.
When it becomes a dominant part of your personality,
Yeah.
that's when it gets to be a little bit concerning for me. Like I love Thanksgiving. I love Christmas as
Yeah.
much as the next guy, but I'm not like blasting like Mariah Carey every other song because I it makes my
Oh,
ears.
Christmas music. That's a whole other thing. Like I'm a Grinch about it, but especially now, I'm like, I can't. Don't
I
leave
love
me.
Christmas music, but like I'm not gonna play the same Mariah Carey. I can't do the Mariah Carey song, All I Want for Christmas Is You. That needs to stay far away from me. But like it's I don't know. I'll put up like my little lights in my bedroom, but I'm not gonna like my parents' neighbors. They like switched out their front porch lights and their garage lights with green and red light bulbs, and like red and white candy cane looking lights are all over the house. They
Too
have a
much.
blow up Santa in the front yard and reindeer, and I'm like,
It's just
it's a
it's
lot.
too much because you can't compete, and now it feels like a competition. I'm like, well, I don't want to even try.
And
I'm
thankfully my parents were never really the sort to do that. Like right now is kind of the most they tend to do. They have a wreath on the front porch and two like mini little Christmas trees instead of like flowers in the two planters they have outside the front door. So it's just like the little Christmas lights, that's it, basically. And that's kind of
that's
as far as I go.
that's fair.
But an interesting segue is how far is too far for like your favorite sports team?
Now you're calling me out.
Well, but it's an interesting like because we're like, oh, if you're obsessed with Disney or holidays, like kind of like grow up and get over it. But then it's like there are people really obsessed with their favorite sports teams. I have never not seen you wear one purple thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm literally that person now because I'm like, wow.
Like
Like it's my
literally
whole
flat
personality.
your thing, your tapestry in the back, your sweatshirt, your bedspread, your flag. Yep.
It's my whole personality. It's my Instagram profile. It's every single thing. Yeah,
It's everything.
I understand. That's fair.
That's
I
fair.
think I don't know. And this I could talk about forever. I say that with every topic. But like I think it's because I grew up in Columbia where for when I was growing up, Mizzou and K-State were somewhat decent rivals. Now it's
Yeah.
nobody cares. But I think
Yeah.
I just grew up wanting everyone to know like I'm not affiliated with Mizzou. Like I'm K-State. And I think that's like what started it. Now, especially going to Mizzou, I'm like, please don't think I'm a Mizzou fan. I hate this school. But I think for a while it was just proving
Yeah.
like, no, I like purple. And like that just became my whole personality.
Yeah. Which is totally fair. Cause I remember like whenever we were younger, I remember you like being obsessed with purple and like you would wear a lot of purple.
Because
And
I
then it
need people to
quickly
know.
And then it developed into K-State, you know. It
Oh,
started
it's
with
always been
just
K-State.
purple. It's always been K-State, but it just kind of started out with like, I'll just wear the color purple every now and then, just as a reminder. But now it's like, you got the flag, you got the hat, you got the sweatshirt. Like it's,
Purple
which,
pants.
no hate. We all
Something.
deep down have something we're
You have
probably
to.
overly obsessed with. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That's why I can't gripe too hard about like Disney adults or holidays. If that's
Yeah.
your thing
Yeah.
and you're happy, good for you. Just the people who really are obsessed with Halloween, please don't develop into serial killers. That's all I ask.
Literally. I
Because
was gonna
they
say,
genuinely scare me.
not to get too serious, but just the last thought going off what you said, like my whole identity is purple in K-State. And like I get like it's the same thing with Taylor Swift, same thing I talked ranted about holidays. Like once someone's that obsessed, it ruins it for everyone else. And like I've seen that with like
Yeah.
friends and family. Nobody wants to watch a K-State football game with me because it's like you can't out yell the TV than I do because I'm that
I don't
like
think I would have a really hard time sitting on the couch and watching a K-State game.
and
I think I'd get scared of you,
you
but I
would.
understand that about you, and I'm not gonna hate, you know? It's just like,
Yeah. So I get it's annoying. Yeah, that's
I
fair.
don't know. I'm sure I'll think of something at some point that I'm probably like overly obsessed with
And I'm like, what's yours?
to an unhealthy boundary, but
Let us know next week what yours is.
yeah, I used to be that like weird kid like in middle school, high school who wrote fan fiction. And it's like, yeah, I accept that about myself.
Hmm.
Because you've said before you really don't like reading. I love reading. I love it. I do it every night before I go to bed on my Kindle. Like, I don't know. I find a lot of enjoyment in it. Not reading textbooks, reading books that I pick that I want to read.
That's fair.
Usually fiction, because nonfiction gets me depressed, but you know.
Dude, I have so many things I want to ask you right now, but then I'll go off the book thing. My sister got me hooked on this TV show. I watched it in like 2 or 3 days, which sometimes I do that with a show, but this one I watched really fast. Turns out there was a movie that came before it, so I watched the movie last night, and then turns out it was all based on a book. So I'm like, I wonder if you've heard of it. It's called The Time Traveler's Wife.
Yes, I've heard of it.
Oh my gosh, you anybody watching this, but specifically you, Hannah, you have to watch the show, the movie, and now I'm ordering the book. I am like, I've never been
Oh, good.
about something. So like I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna read a book for the first time in my life.
It's whenever you get the
Never,
trifecta of movie, TV show, book,
which I know, read the book first, but like I literally the last time I probably read a book like front to back, I don't have an answer. Like I was gonna say high school, but not even high school.
I
Like
don't even think you did it in high school. Yeah.
I don't read. So I'm actually excited. I'm about to buy a book and probably never read it, but
I've done that. I've done that with like Star Wars, I think.
I've
Like
never seen Star Wars.
I know, and this is our
I
point
think.
of contention because I grew up with brothers, so I've been like I don't want to say groomed to love Star Wars because that sounds bad, but like I've been a part of that for since I was a itty bitty little kid. So I do it. No hate. I love Star Wars. Don't get on me about that. I have okay, maybe that is my thing because I have a
Yeah.
pair of sunglasses that were I got on like a super special 24-hour only sale. They were like $150 originally. I got them for $30. They're a limited edition collection pair of sunglasses centered around a Star Wars character. That is my favorite. You wouldn't know her, but I love those sunglasses.
Well, I love that for you. You have
I
some
love them so much. I get compliments every time I wear them, and I'm just like, thanks, they're Star Wars.
so Star Wars is your thing.
Like a loser. I do love Star Wars a lot. I can't help it. It's good. Except
Okay.
for the
Well,
sequels.
huh?
I said except for the sequels. I don't like the sequels.
Yeah, I can't talk Star Wars with you because I've literally never watched a
You
single.
know nothing. Oh, that's so upsetting.
It's just I'm too far behind. Like it's just one of those things. I can't even catch up. I'm too far.
I mean, I kind of get that. Kind of like with like Marvel stuff.
Yeah, never
There's
seen any of
just
that.
so much. I've watched like the Avengers movies and then like a few standalones, but now there's like TV shows, there's other movies, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I can't. It's too much.
I agree.
It's too much.
I agree.
It's not good. All right.
Well,
Now
I
that
was gonna ask you when we were talking about Christmas, I was gonna say, I don't know if we talked about this or not. I was gonna ask you about like if you grew up believing in Santa and doing Santa, because you said your family didn't do Halloween last week. You said that, so I didn't know
Right.
if you guys did Santa.
I was never allowed to believe in Santa.
Wow. Oh
Which
man,
is like,
I wanted to ask you like when you stopped believing in him, but
which to a certain extent, I don't know if that's really on my parents or if that's like on me having 3 older brothers who were assholes. So I can't really I can't pinpoint a moment where like I found out Santa wasn't real.
that's what I
I
was
just
gonna say.
remember like going to school and hearing other kids talk about Santa, and I'm like,
Oh, it was definitely me because I was gonna say in second grade.
wait, I remember it was you and Mariah Blackburn.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you remember that? Because I
Oh,
remember.
Mariah, I'm so sorry to call you out if you for whatever reason are watching this
I told
podcast.
her. I ruined it for her. I remember that. I remember telling her like, "Girl, Santa ain't real." And she's like, "Yes, it is."
I remember sitting on the swings. I was a witness to this conversation. She started crying.
I don't
And I
remember
was
that.
just sitting there and I'm like, what? She's right.
Oh my gosh, I just have in my head this whole time of my life knowing that I spoiled Santa for someone, but I don't remember the story. You were there?
I remember that. I do remember it because I remember going home and like telling my parents about it. And like Mariah and I were friends for like a few years, and I would like go to her house and stuff like that.
You're like this
And
girl
I remember
Kelli.
like afterwards, like my parents, they're like, okay, you know Santa's not real, but like you have like a few cousins who still believe in Santa and things like that. Like it's not our place to tell people that he's not real. So like,
Oh, my mom
you
told me
know,
the same thing, but I was like, I'm
yeah.
telling you.
So my parents were just like, support your friends. So whenever I saw that and like Mariah was crying, Mariah was like, Hannah, you believe in Santa, right? And I'm like, yeah, he's real. I've seen him before. Like I lied because I felt so bad because she was so upset. And then afterwards, whenever I was talking to you, you're like, you know, Santa's not real. And I'm like, yeah, he's not real.
Oh my gosh, I don't remember that.
To some people that might seem fake, but to others, I was just trying to protect my friend's feelings. She was going to grow up eventually, not in second grade being confronted by Kelly Jackson on the playground by the swings.
Man,
That was dramatic.
no wonder I don't have any friends. I don't know why I spoiled it for her, but I was like, she's got to know. She's got to know the truth.
You're like, you don't know? Like, I remember so vividly, you're like, oh, your parents haven't told you yet. I was like, Kelly, we are part of the inner circle who already knows don't do this to other people. And you're just like, he's not real. It's just your parents. That's why you've never seen him. And I was like,
No, and I was like, I remember vaguely like trying to tell her like proving it to her because she wanted. I remember for some reason I remember she wanted like a smart board really bad. Like you know how in class you'd have the smart boards.
of
She really
course,
wanted
which
one.
like don't exist anymore.
I know I was gonna say, do though. We all wanted smart boards, but I was like, well, it's your parents. And I think I even like called her parents out. We're like, because I thought they were like $1 billion. I'm like, your parents don't have enough money and you're not gonna get one for Christmas, and that's gonna prove that Santa's not real. I was so
Wait, how expensive are smart boards? Because I used to think they were like super
oh,
expensive.
I know. I'm
But
like,
now they don't even have smart boards. They're just like really fancy TVs.
yeah,
Like
exactly. I just know it was like I don't know how much it was, but as a kid, I just knew it was unobtainable to ask Santa for a smart board. So I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna prove this to you because you ain't getting a smart board for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, because it kind of comes because like to me as a child, the only thing that made sense was that Santa wasn't real. Because I'm like, if I asked for like begged for Santa to get me like a dog or a car or something, of course I'm not gonna get it. I'm freaking 7 years old. Of course I'm not gonna get a car. You know what I mean? So it's like your parents have to kind of, I don't know.
Oh,
It depends on the family, because some people were allowed to believe, some people were not, like me. I don't
I'm not
know.
doing it with my kids. I hate the idea of Santa.
I do too. But my parents kind of like dug deep into it. They're just like, the only one who can truly provide everything you want is Jesus, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And I'm just like, yes, ma'am.
You're right. You're right.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm just like, I'm not, and like watching my cousin who was actually older than me by like 4 or 5 years, watching her wholeheartedly believe in Santa.
Awful. Why would you
I
lie
was
to
like,
someone?
wow. I was like, wow, I feel really smart right now. Like I remember one year she was being like a huge asshole. And so me and my oldest brother were just like, we're gonna call Santa and tell him you're being mean to us and he's not gonna bring you any gifts. And there was like this app on it was the first ever iPod that we were using. It wasn't even a cell phone. It was the first iPod, like iPod Touch.
Okay.
And Justin downloaded an app where it looked like you were calling Santa and had Santa on the phone. And so he pretended to like call Santa and be like, yeah, like Allie's being really mean. I don't think she deserves to be on the good list this year. She was a disaster. She was a wreck. She just fell apart. I feel so bad looking back, but she was being
Same.
a dick.
We were terrible little kids.
Eh. I knew Santa wasn't real. It was time for her to face the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, literally at the time, she was like 15, 16. Like,
She was 15? Grow up. You're
and I was
15?
literally like 10, 11 years old. And I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was in second grade. However old seventh, you're like 7 years old in second grade.
And I would get so frustrated because her parents would like
That's
stage things for them
oh,
and be like, oh my gosh, like look at this letter Santa wrote to you saying you have a brand new trampoline at home. I'm like, you guys are a disgrace.
it's terrible. I was just gonna say,
It was just a whole like production
how
every
do you
year.
go
And I'm
that
like,
long?
okay.
I
It's
don't
I
remember how. No, you have to like because I'm a 7 year old and I was just like, okay, this is unrealistic. A fat man cannot go down
literally.
my chimney.
But I
So
guess
one
the
day I have to
pull
sing.
of like I guess the pull of like getting whatever you ask for at the end of the year is like enough to be like, nah, I'm gonna keep believing because I'm gonna keep getting what I want. I guess
It's,
that's the only way I can justify her believing in Santa at 16
well,
years
sorry
old.
to your cousin if she watches this, but that's
Sorry,
just
Kelly. You
grow
know
up,
I love you so much. You're still kind of a dick though, so
grow
you
up.
kind of
Okay, let's move topics. Actually, no, we're gonna stay on this topic of like things you believed in as a kid. Um, I compiled some other ones that were just like irrational things, like why did we believe this as a kid? Okay, and tell me if you did, or if you still do, or if you didn't. Okay, my first
okay.
one was if you swallow gum, it would stay in your stomach for 7 years.
I have never spit out a piece of gum in my entire life.
You swallow all your gum?
I swallow every piece of gum.
Oh, see, like, I don't know if I believe this or not. Like, I kind of,
I trust it to break down better in my body than in the environment because I'm scared some like animal is going to come eat it and die.
oh, now I feel bad. Well,
I'm a
I
good.
also hate eating gum, but like as a kid, feel like we
I
were
love.
all told like if you swallow it, it stays in your stomach for 7 years.
Oh, absolutely. Like it never, yeah, they tell you like, oh, it'll never break down. So if you swallow enough pieces of gum, it'll just build up.
But
I'm
you
like,
were like, okay, I don't want to do that to an animal.
I was literally like, I don't care. I did not care at all.
Ew, I've never swallowed gum. Actually, that's a lie. They used to make Skittles gum, and that I eat like candy. But I was 5. I didn't know.
Is gum classified as candy? Because like it's in
No,
like the candy aisle of the
but like some
grocery
of it's
store.
like a mint because it's supposed to make you smell good.
But like if you go to like the candy aisle in
Like
Walmart,
bubble gum.
a
Yeah,
big
true.
portion of it is
Gum is weird. Let's not.
gum is weird. What is gum? Like
I
I've been told it's like plastic and things like that, but it's like how bad can it really be? I'm still
Oh
here,
my
and
god.
I've probably swallowed well over 100 pieces of gum.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So if it stayed in your stomach for 7 years,
You're dead.
I wouldn't be here anymore. I would be dead. So, I don't know. So I don't know if I ever believed in it, but I certainly didn't care.
Wow. Well, you're a science experiment and you're doing fine.
One of
Speaking of
these days,
science
I'm just gonna throw
experiments,
up a lot of gum.
yeah, exactly. Speaking of science experiments, I was going to give you all an update on my toe, but that's probably really gross. Anyways, we'll let you know next week because I'm going to get a call from my doctor in a few days. So we'll save that for next
Gonna
week.
amputate your toe.
We'll let you know next week. All right, moving on. Okay, this is probably just me. It's not, I have some other good ones, but swallowing an apple or like a seed from like an apple or something. Did you think that a tree was going to grow inside of you?
No, but I thought I'd be killed from arsenic.
What?
Apple seeds contain is it arsenic or cyanide?
I don't know. Arsenic feels like something like murder or something. I
Well,
don't know.
arsenic and cyanide are both poisons that will kill you.
Oh
So
my
like
god.
if you eat enough apple seeds, if you eat like a few apple seeds, you will die from
What?
I'm looking it up. I
That's
swear I
not
thought it
true.
was yes, apple
But we eat
seeds.
strawberry seeds. We eat all these other seeds. What's wrong
They
with
don't
apple?
all contain poison.
That's a
Yeah.
lie.
When a person chews an apple seed, a compound within it releases cyanide.
Well, I wish I would have been told that rather than my sister was like, if you eat an apple seed, a tree's gonna grow in your stomach. And I
Well,
used to
it's just to
believe that.
keep you from eating it, but they don't want to put the dark idea in your head that it's like
Oh,
truly poisonous.
wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Now I'm like nervous. Like, how many
But I
apples?
believe that's just apple seeds.
That is
But like strawberry seeds, obviously, are fine. We eat them all the time. Watermelon seeds, you're not supposed to eat them. I don't know if it's like the same premise, but
I did not know that.
yeah.
Wow, that feels like someone should have told me that because like now as an adult, I know a
Honestly.
tree's not gonna grow in my stomach, but what if I just started eating the seeds?
So if you ever just really are over it, pop a couple.
Hannah, Hannah,
I gotta go.
stop. Okay, this
Fine.
one was probably just me, and I'm making my sister sound really bad, but like I already sound like a jerk too. But she used to tell me,
He
like,
always sounds
now tell me what's wrong with this one. But my sister used to tell me if you touch the black part in your eye, you would die.
with people.
Yeah, your pupil. If you touch your pupil, you would die.
I touch my pupil all the time. I touch my eye constantly. Is that
What?
bad?
I used to be so. What? No, 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 no,
As
no,
me
no,
physically
no.
pushing on my eye, people. Because
Why?
I wear contacts, so
Okay,
I'm
that's
constantly
different.
touching
You
my
have a
eye.
little layer. But like if I just straight up touched my pupil, I was told I would die.
Well, it's extremely sensitive. You can only do it for like half a second, or else like it'll mess up your vision. But like,
Minutes.
how? How?
You
We
talk
only have
about
10 minutes left. We got the alert. But I put in contacts, so I'm constantly in a state of touching my eye. But like the white part of so the contact only encircles like the iris and the pupil. All the white has no contact on it, and I'm constantly like,
I have a really big phobia, I think, of anything touching my eye because I can't. If something's in my eye, I'm like trying to get it out without touching my eye.
well, yeah, if something like an eyelash or dirt or something that like clearly is not supposed to be in my eyes, just like chilling in my eye, I'm like, what is happening? Like the other day, oh, I got cinnamon sugar in my eye. It like felt like I was crumpling up a piece of parchment with it on there, and it like popped up into my open eyeballs, and I was like, cinnamon is
Oh,
a spice.
oh,
Oh, it was so bad. So I literally just went over to the faucet and just like sprayed my open eyeball.
oh. I hate when things get in my eyes.
It was not pleasant. But then I can just sit here and like,
Oh my gosh.
ugh. it was not good.
Okay.
It felt awful.
Well, my
Awful.
last one I had, like things that you like believed as a kid. So I used to read like Clifford books. Those were the best children's books, right?
Clifford the Big Red Dog. He
Of
was the
course.
goat.
And one of them was like the fire truck one or whatever, the fireman one. And it was like teaching how to like stop, drop, and roll. And it was like, if you ever catch on fire, you stop, drop, and roll. So as a 5-year-old, I'm like, okay, this is good information, thinking that it was going to be more prevalent in my life. Like someday, or like your parents.
They really nailed that into our brains. I
Stop,
feel
drop,
like
and roll.
everybody knows stop, drop, and roll, but
Everybody knows stop, drop, and roll. But like I've never luckily had to use it. But I think as a 5-year-old, I thought it was going to happen like several times in my life.
But then in like movies or TV shows or anything like that, if like in like a joking way, like if anybody ever actually like catches on fire, like their clothes catch on fire or something, you just see that somebody like beating them with a curtain or something. You never see someone be like, oh, stop, drop, and roll, and they like fall to the ground. That never happens.
We were really
They're
taught
always
that
like
as a kid.
throwing water on them or like trying to pad it out or something like that. They never drop to the ground. So as a kid, I was like, stop, drop, and roll. What are you doing, SpongeBob? Like,
yeah, we were really enforced that. And it's like, okay, my other one, like this is a little bit different, but if you ever watch were you allowed to watch Wizards of Waverly Place?
I wasn't, but I did.
Did you watch the movie?
Yeah.
Iconic. You know, like the quicksand and like who was it? Alex, she starts sinking in the quicksand.
Quicksand was supposed to be a lot bit more of a prevalent of a threat than it actually is.
Didn't
Quicksand
you
was in like everything.
You were like, oh, I'm gonna see quicksand when I grow up, and like this is gonna be a problem.
Like you step in mud and you're like, oh my god, it's quicksand. No, it's just mud. Like quicksand
Is
was,
that a
I
thing?
feel like, a trope thrown in so many different things we watched.
I know. So it's like I thought it was gonna be more prevalent. Is quicksand a real thing?
Yeah, I was literally about to ask the same thing.
Is it in America at least? Like I'm sure it's somewhere, but it's like how many people?
I highly doubt it's in America. Here, let me look it up. I highly doubt there's quicksand in America because I feel like we would have seen a lot of headlines like Florida man dies in quicksand. They would have all been from Florida.
Exactly.
Is quicksand real?
I have no idea.
Real quicksand is certainly hard to get out of, but it doesn't suck people under the way it seems to in movies.
Exactly. Why are movies telling us lies like this?
Okay. So quicksand is usually found in hollows at the mouths of large rivers or along flat stretches of streams or beach. It's just mud. It's just really deep mud.
So it's fine.
I feel cheated.
Me and you are gonna die, and one of us is gonna die from like a fire, and one of us is gonna die from quicksand, just because we're like, this is not prevalent.
We're like, this is stupid. I have almost lit myself on fire a fair amount of times, but you live and you learn. In high school, I can't remember. No, I wasn't in class with you whenever I did culinary, but we were learning how to flambe, which is where you pour the alcohol in and tip the pan so it lights on fire and it's like the big flame, kind of like a hibachi or something like that. And I singed my eyelashes off.
Oh my gosh.
Like it got that close to my face to where it singed my eyelashes off. My eyebrows were fine. The rest of me was fine. But I just saw like little like kind of embers on the ends of my eyelashes and flicked them away. And suddenly like my middle eyelashes were gone. I looked like a freak.
I guess they grew back.
Yeah, they grew back. It's totally fine, guys. But I was just like, I remember just taking a step back and like wiping my eyelashes and I'm like, I'm gonna go home. And that was about it. I called my parents and I'm like, I gotta go. I just lit my eyelashes on fire and I really don't want to be here anymore. They're just like, yeah, okay.
You about had to stop, drop, and roll.
Bro, I don't think stop, dropping, and rolling would have done shit. If like my jacket caught on fire, I would have been dropping on that ground so fast, that concrete floor. Would have cracked my skull open on that floor, stop, dropping, and rolling.
But like, yeah, you really would just kind of be like, beat it out. Like no one would. Can you imagine if someone was on fire? They're just
awful.
That's really
somebody's trying to throw water on you, but you're too busy rolling across the room. They're like, stay still, and you're like, no. Like,
Catching everything else on fire as you're rolling.
you catch everybody you pass on fire.
That's not funny, but that's really funny.
Sorry if you've ever been lit on fire and we're making fun of you. Sorry to that, like, maybe one person in our viewership that has caught on
aunt,
fire
and
before.
she's like, my aunt died in a fire. And I'm like, well, maybe she should have stopped, dropped, and rolled.
Maybe if she had just stopped, dropped, and rolled, we don't know where she'd be today. She could be the next president of the United States.
Oh my gosh. It's not funny, but that's so funny. Oh my gosh.
I know. I find like I don't want to say I have a dark sense of humor because that sounds really bad, but I do find myself laughing at a lot of things that probably should not be laughed at. You know what I mean? Because it's like if I don't laugh, I'll cry.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like whenever I lost my job, everybody was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And I'm like, I'm just gonna laugh it off and be like, it's no big deal. Because if I don't, I'm just gonna start crying. And
Oh,
who
I'm the
knows?
same way. I'll laugh
So
with
it's
you like, Hannah got fired.
literally. And so like looking back at my car accidents, I'm just like, suckers. And I'm like, they totaled my car. Why am I laughing? Like, could have died. It's like, oh God. It's I don't know. And I'll just blame my brothers for that too. I blame a lot of things on having brothers. And that'll just go on the list.
We need help, Hannah.
Well, that's why the podcast is aptly named. So people watching this podcast offer help. How do we not laugh at horrible instances like somebody catching on fire? Do you remember in middle school? You were homeschooled in middle school? Okay. I'll
Did
do
someone
this
catch on fire?
really quick. Do you remember when I was telling you about no, that was my sister-in-law. So my sister-in-law didn't know what the pacer test was, first of all. That's the whole
Fitness
thing.
fan pacer test. It's about
Okay, thank God. You're not too far gone. So there was this video they showed us in middle school every single year because we had to take FACS class. Half of FACS was
sewing.
half was cooking.
I did sewing.
And so the video they showed us every year before we actually started cooking was this kitchen safety video. And it was just like a PSA, public service announcement. And it was this woman like walking in the kitchen, like doing her job, blah, 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 like talking about kitchen safety. And then she's like, and I'll show you how to safely, transport this pot of used grease and dispose of it safely. But it was a trick. And so the actual thing was like, keep the floors clean or somebody could get hurt. And so this woman was carrying this big pot of oil, hot, piping hot oil. She slipped on this puddle of water and dumped it on herself and caught on fire. And then it was just the PSA logo. And I like would laugh. Because it's just so like, she should not have caught on fire. That's not how grease works. You just be really burned. But like her clothes just went up in flames, but it was like really badly animated flames. It was so